Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to make another video for today. As you can see, I came from work, so I'm looking a lot more fresh than I did in my other previous videos. I want to talk to you today about right-wing extremism. Now, the reason why I'm talking to you about it, some of you might think, especially Afrikaner people, might think, how is this even relevant? Because right-wing extremists are those who hide in isolated places and you don't know really what they do. They belong to a secret society. And I can't really talk about Black Lives Matter without addressing the other side either, because that would mean that I am very partial in my judgment and I am only interested in hearing one side of the story. And usually, if you harp only on the one side, you tend to become biased in some way or another, whether you are partially right or you will become biased to some degree. And it might have come across like that in some of my previous videos. That is why I decided to make this other video and get a little perspective on both sides. Now, my grandfathers and a lot of Afrikaners' grandparents grew up under the apartheid regime. So they very blatantly used the K word when they were referring to black people. This is undeniable. We cannot, I do not like to use the word. I've never really used the word myself until I was beaten by my mother for using it. That was one time and I was 5 years old. So I know it's wrong, and I, at the core of my being, know it's wrong to call somebody that word. But there is still a lot of people, Afrikaans people, that like to use that word. And when they talk about black people, they still have this sense of bitterness and anger because of what we see the government is doing. But the problem is that black people know this. They know there is incompetence in the government. That is nothing new to anybody. South Africans know this. And what I would like to say is that nothing new has actually been offered to them other than the ANC. That I can guarantee you. The DA does not have the answers in that regard. Most other parties don't actually have the answer. And they have not even been willing to listen to the pleas of their people. I don't see people on the ground having decent conversations with the people that actually have problems, real problems, that are living in poverty. I don't see them reaching out to them in any way, shape or form, other than having their own rallies and trying to make their own speeches based on what they understand to be the problem and what they're going to do about it. And what these people are actually supposed to do is get black and white people to talk to each other. And we don't see that happening. Nelson Mandela and people like Desmond Tutu did not really achieve this goal at all. And I believe this was their civil duty, to get people to talk to each other, so that we can come together and decide together what we are going to do forward, what we are going to do forward as a nation, to strive together, to be in unity, and to be making decisions together. The government is not really supposed to do this for us. And what they've been doing is making decisions over on top of our heads, what they believe is best for us. And I believe they had the goodest of intentions at the end of the day, but they were addressing the one group of people on the one side based on their needs, and they believe that they did the best to address those problems. And what they should have done is engage with the public as a whole on all fronts, on all sides, on all levels and facets of life. And the problem is that is the very thing that they did not do. And yet they claim to represent the whole of South Africa. Whenever they say fellow South Africans, I don't believe they are talking to all of us. They claim they do, but they are not talking for all of us. And but let me get back to the point here. Whenever we talk to each other as fellow Afrikaners or white people, the constant thing that always come up is the government's incompetence. And we don't really intend to do this, but this does invoke a sense of bitterness and anger against black people as a whole, which I believe is wrong, because we tend to focus on their problems rather than providing solutions. And once we do this, we create a sense of sensation which drives the division between black and white people as a whole. And what I've heard and found is that black people as a whole are generally tend to be more generous towards white people and friendly towards white people than a lot of white people are towards black people. And this is a weird statement to make, but the majority of people are actually very accommodating, very glad to work with each other. But the thing is that they've been waiting for us to step up to the plate. They've been waiting for us to provide direction. Even with the warped ideas of taking all the wealth and redistributing it, they are still willing to work alongside with us. This idea that black people wants to kick white people into the sea and drive them back to Europe, this is a false narrative that is being driven by the media. It is not even true. The majority of black people does not want this. Yet the media wants us to believe it because they want us to be pitted against the black people and be angry at them. This is what a very small select group of politicians are saying, but it is not really reflective of black people as a whole. And yes, some black people are falling for the bait. Yes, they are becoming angry and they are speaking alongside politicians, but that is a very small majority. They're not speaking on behalf of the silent majority. The only reason why the majority has been silent up until now is because nobody has really stepped up to the plate to provide any alternative to what the current government is giving them. And that is also the reason why they are continuing to vote for the ANC government. It's because nobody is really coming together to provide an alternative towards what we have been experiencing, both under apartheid and under the new government. And what we've been missing this whole time has been the right information that we need to be empowered. And I want to encourage you to go to this Double Days channel where he's been talking about these very things that I'm mentioning to you right now. Is that there needs to come an organic movement of people that resist this system of governance that is claiming to represent us but don't really represent us as South Africans. And we need to become unified, because when we have the motive of loving and understanding and listening to each other, we will experience a totally different change to what our perception of other people is towards us. What we've believed that they were thinking about us and thought of and wanted to do to us is not really the reality. It's not really the reality. And the unfortunate thing is that racism is to a part real, because although we've been sort of taken out of that old apartheid system, not being able to use those words anymore and express ourselves as Afrikaners and people towards people of color in such a way, we still harbor those feelings of resentment against people of color because of the disappointment of their very leaders that is basically in corruption, positions of authority, and abusing their power, when the whole majority of black people are not like that at all. They are not stupid. Black people know what's going on. They understand things more than we realize. They are not puppets. They are human beings. It is the government officials that are the puppets, because they willingly know what's going on, and they were selling us out for the last 25 years and even more. I'm telling you, the ANC government, although they are messing up, they are no different than the apartheid government back in those days. It's just the system has not changed. And I don't like to refer to people, individuals. I'm also against this system because it is a Luciferian New World Order that wants to basically, they want to reset the economy, but they want to do it on their own terms. They want to basically take control of everything. They want to collapse the existing capitalist economy that there is in order for them to take control of everything. And they want to take away your rights and freedoms so that you will always look to them for free handouts, for free everything. Everything must be given to you. Your rights and your liberties will be taken away from you. Now we do have on the flip side where a group of people on the other side wants to take away everything and redistribute it equally amongst everyone so that there will be an equal playing field, which I do have a problem with as well. Black people want an economic reset, and that is why they don't care if they are burning buildings down and burning institutions, universities. They do not care. And we as white people need to put ourselves in their position, because they are being exploited and disenfranchised by this very system that we are supposedly claiming is benefiting them at the end of the day, because they are getting free houses and they don't have to pay taxes, they're getting free electricity. But as long as they are kept at that position, they will always be dependent on the government for free handouts, and that is not where you want any citizen to be. We claim that they are being bought with votes. Their votes are being bought with all these free carrots that are hanging in front of their eyes. But the reality is that actually black people want to be heard. That is what we need to understand. We need to come across the road and we need to talk with them and we need to listen to what they have to say. That is all that I got to say right now. But we need to really come out of our boxes and start to really become approachable and stop this apprehension of people that we have this problem with. I really love black people. I mentioned in this previous video, I love it when I see a black person riding the same 4x4 Toyota bakkie that brand new out of the box than a white Afrikaans guy is driving. I'm like amazed. I'm saying, look where these people have come. Look at what God is doing in their lives. They are prospering. Things are going well with them. I love it. I get a sense of joy and glee out of it. So I have no intention to be racist in any way, shape or form. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.